Hello, everyone, and welcome to the program. This is Sunday Politics on Channels Television. I'm Sean Kimbaloye in Lagos. The past few days have been incredibly dramatic for the main opposition party, the People's Democratic Party, PDP, after a series of court orders and counter-order to stop Uche Secondus from performing as the national chairman of the party. And yesterday, the National Working Committee of the PDP met and chose and decided Abuja as a venue of its planned convention slated for the end of October, and also that decision was ratified by the National Executive Committee NEC of the PDP. The meeting, which attracted serving and former governors of the party, was presided over by Elder Yemi Akinwumi, following the latest court order from Calabar, Cross River State, which restrains Mr. Uche Secondus from serving as the party's national chairman. But after the NEC meeting, the party resolved to hold a national convention in October, and it will hold in Abuja. Well, the PDP has been enmeshed in a leadership tussle over the last few months, resulting in several court orders as some within the party called for the sack of the national chairman, Mr. Uche Secondus, barely 4 months to the end of his tenure in December. But what does the outcome of this NEC meeting hold for the PDP and its future? One of the main objectives of the PDP is how it will come back to the mainstream of Nigeria's political politics, especially regaining prominence at the center. So let's speak now with my guest. I'm being joined tonight by the chairman of the People's Democratic Party's Board of Trustees, Senator Walid Jibrin. He joins us from Abuja studio. Your Excellency, Senator, thank you so much for joining us tonight on the program. Let's begin by...
very much.
Thank you. It's good to see you. Let me begin by finding out, apart from the date of the convention, and the timing of the convention, and of course the venue of the convention, can you tell us what your party has also decided on? Will it be a northern presidential candidate slot and the chairmanship to the south? Is that what you have agreed upon too?
Well, thank you very much, Shehu. It is very right for you to have told the public that the NEC met yesterday and took decision. First was the venue of this convention, and it was started, it should be in Abuja. During that time, we are going to we have also approved that the convention proper has to come on October 30th to 31st. And during that time, we are going to look and approve the composition of the committees that will form the nomination of the chairman of our party.
Let me ask you also, that means you totally not agreed on what is a very crucial part of that convention, because if you are going into the convention, I thought by that NEC meeting of yesterday, you should have agreed on where to zone, because that will determine where the positions in the offices, because people will now start jostling for the different offices. So people don't have an idea of where the next chairman will come from and where the other NWC members will come from.
I think it would be premature for us to tell people where the chairman will come from. First, we have to agree on the composition of the committee to do that. It is the duty of the committee to make their selection and make sure that the chairman come to a very reasonable area, acceptable by all of us, acceptable by the members of this party. So it is very typical for me today to tell you where the chairman will come from. Would that approving the composition of the members of the committee to do that exercise?
Senator, you work closely with Prince Uche Secondus as the PDP BOT chairman. He is the national chairman of the party. Where did he get it wrong, or where did things go wrong for him so much that people want him out?
Well, I've been very close with Secondus. I think we are the few members of the party who have seen it all since 1998, from the bottom, the ward, the unit, the ward, the state, up to the national level, holding very condition. Is not easy for somebody to carry on successfully with all that is needed, but we are not 100%. We cannot be seen as 100%, but we have to follow the qualities that made us to be in that position. Like Secondus had been the chairman of this party for the past 4 years, and I have been the chairman of BOT for the past 3 years. And it's time for us to look critically on the progress of this party, to look at us, all of us, not only Secondus, but all of us, to see what are we doing, what have we done, what are we trying to do to make this party strong, united, and if there's anything that has been discovered, is not bad if we put ourselves together to ensure that we do the correct thing. I think that's what is our intention.
But can you tell us, what did he do wrong exactly from your own view? What exactly is it that makes some members of the party wanting him to get out of that office even before the end of his tenure?
You see, we differ so much, and we have got our own views individually about most of us. Like myself, it was just 2 days that the BOT members, numbering over 100, passed a vote of confidence on me. And that showed that I'm doing well, and I'm so happy that with that vote of confidence. So the time is coming for this election of the party officers, not only Secondus, but all other officers, for us to look properly and decide and quantify their performance. And it is in that effort that we are trying to do. I think it will be premature for us now, for anybody to think that we have already earmarked the dismissal or condemnation of Secondus. You could see in our discussion headed by the BOT, the governors, former governors, former ministers, members of the House of, Senate and House of Representatives, we have met and make sure that we have to scrutinize and make sure we look at the areas and that will assist us to make progress and for our party to not only win the 2023 election, but to be fully acceptable. So we are going to do that, and the committee we have set up will do a lot of work for us to see whoever is there. I think we have done a very good protection for Secondus. There was no place we say Secondus should be sacked. We gave him a very soft landing. We gave him all the respect that is needed, and therefore is for Secondus to look at what we have done for him and not sacking him, not to condemn him at all, to also cooperate with these bodies that are working on the activities of all of them.
So you've not told us what Secondus actually did for some people. I mean, this soft landing that you said the party has given him, you've not told us what he's done. But is it true what some of your party members are saying? I know you will tell us the truth right here. Is it true that the stories that we hear, that is some of the governors in your party that want him out? How true is that?
Well, I have never seen that, and we have never discussed that. There no any governor who has come out to tell us that he wants Secondus out. All our government are doing to ensure that the party progresses. The unity of this party is maintained, and no individual is too big for us and for the governors to shut him down if he had done bad. It is in this process that we are trying to find out who are the best people, who are the people to lead us. We are not saying that Secondus should go now. There are so many opportunities given, convention, discussion, through NEC and so many other things, to look at the qualities of people and bring us an alternative also. If we get that better than Secondus, so be it. But I'm showing you there's no governor who has come to say he wants the party to sack Secondus right away. No, let us go gently. Let us be very careful in the way we do it. When we come to that state, the whole world will see what we are going to do within the next 4 months, that we are ready to do what the best we can in better to make this our party the greatest.
I know under your constitution, Mr. Uche Secondus has a right to contest again for the office of the PDP national chairman. Since you work with him closely, is it the kind of chairman of your party that you would like to see again? Is it possible that we see Mr. Uche Secondus become the party national chairman after the convention in October?
That is why we have held so many meetings. Look at left, right, from and back, to look at the situation that would be better for us. I'm telling you, it's too immature for anybody to say that. That's why when we're discussing, we did not say Secondus should be sent away immediately. No. We gave him all the respect, we gave him all the opportunity to sing, and for him to even come out on his own to make a decision not for us to even make decision for him. So no, I've seen the rumor that there are some particular people who want him out immediately. No, we are looking at all the qualities, what he had done, what is the best thing we can do for this our party. But for you to tell me that right away the aim is to sack him, the aim is to disgrace him, no, we are not ready for that. We are ready for him to come, talk to us, agree with us, and so that we live ourselves peacefully without any fighting for him, for us, and for all of us that are in this party and holding position in this party.
The BOT is a conscience of the PDP based on the principles of your party. What are the qualities of the kind of national chairman you want for your party?
Well, it's a very important question. At this state we're in now, we need to have a really sound, very clever, intelligent chairman that will lead this party. Therefore, we must have somebody who is consistent in loyalty to the party in terms of stability and strong support and integrity and character. In fact, such a chairman must bring to the party, and the party will know any recruit and suspicion on what is in. In fact, he should be well grounded in politics, both at the national and local level, with a good reputation for excellent leadership. Somebody that should be carry this party to the state needed by all Nigerians, by all party members. Somebody who will stand and not simply and be for all of us and make sure that he does not take sides for all of us, and therefore he is ready to take us to the 2023, where we are expected to have the president of Nigeria coming from the PDP. And that is what we really want, the kind of leader that is acceptable to all of us, so that he will do the best that is expected to do and not selfish at all, and we will love such a party to lead us in this party.
You probably prefer that person to be a former governor. Would that be part of the criteria?
How can it be? How can somebody come and say he might be a governor, or he might be a senator, or he might be this and that? For now, all these people we are calling about have qualities, and let's look at all of us. I have been a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria since Second Republic, and today I'm the BOT chairman. It's the people who chose me to be the BOT chairman. I did not force myself into the BOT. Therefore, when you talk about we want to see a governor, or a former governor, or a former minister, or a former this or this coming to be the chairman, all we need a very qualitative person, somebody will experience that will take us to the to where we are intended to go and win the party. But if you talk to me now, telling that there is a particular governor who want to be the chairman of this party, I think is very wrong. Don't force this thing on this kind of people. We have categories of people, many of them that are capable to be the chairman of this party. So wait and see. let's see what October would give us. Let's see whom we will all be, it will be agreeable to us to making the national chairman of this party.
There is a technical area I would like you to take you on this conversation, and it's about the constitutionality of the dates that you have chosen for the National Convention. In at least 7 states, you do not have election yet. And elections need to be conducted in those states first, because there are layers before you get to the convention. The convention is the highest point in your party strata, from the ward to the local government, to the state, to the senatorial, and to the region, and then you have the national and the national convention. So how do you hope that you'll be able to achieve this between September and the end of October? For those who have criticized the decision of the NEC to say that was hasty and that your party is headed for a constitutional crisis, how do you respond to that?
Yeah, Shehu, before we go into this business, we must have looked at areas that are not allowed, areas that will kill us, areas that will not help us. It's right for you to say there are some congresses that have to take place to come out with the qualities and come out with the condition. Annette has set condition that we must follow. And I assure you, we are not unforgettable of these qualities of condition set for us. That's why we have decided to hold this convention in October. By that time, we must already there. We must have already dead or all what we are planning. I don't think we will allow this kind of things to happen to us. We will never allow what happened in Zambara, where the APC failed to do certain things, and there were tendencies, and you see the outcome of it now. We are very aware of these congresses. We are very aware of the conditions set for convention. We are going to follow them very, very strictly, and we are on course. Before October, I'm sure we must have planned with all these arrangements. When do we do this? When do we do this? And so on. We are ready for it, and we are going to do it.
One of the aims of your party, you have mentioned it, that you want to return, you want to produce the next president of Nigeria in 2023. You're speaking to millions of Nigerians who are watching you now, and you're speaking as though you are asking them to give your party another opportunity, since your party was booted out of power in 2015. But the question would be, does your party have the capacity to provide Nigerians with the kind of candidate that it deserves, or that Nigeria needs to steer their affairs going forward? And let me put you on the spot. If your party has those kind of candidates, can you mention to us at least 4 or 5 people that you think that can spearhead or lead this country after 2023?
What I can tell you, that PDP has ruled this Nigeria for 16 years, and we are ready to rule again come 2023. We have candidates who have personalities, many in PDP, that are capable of becoming president of Nigeria. We have not set the boat running yet, or start tradition. There are too many of them. We can beat anywhere for any part of this country to be the president of Nigeria, but it's not time for us to do that now. It is very wrong of me to tell you that this and that and they are the people we have earmarked. And somebody who is listening, somebody who is seeing, will even tell other people that there are certain candidates that are ready to. But it is immature. For me now, as the BOT chairman, I'm conscious of this party to come and tell you this person or this woman, this man is the one we are looking at now. I think I will not do that to my job. I will not do that to the people who put me in power. I will not do that to PDP. But we are watching. And I want all members of our party to be watching and be advising us. Who are these people? There are many of them. One who have decided will tell you here.
I wanted you to, for a second, market your party. And that was why I was asking a lot of people, you know the members of your party. Because there are a lot of millions of Nigerians who are watching now who do not know. And they're wondering in their minds, does the PDP even have the kind of people that we need to lead us in this country? And that was why I asked you the question. But it does look like Nigerians will keep guessing and keep thinking maybe the PDP does not have the quality of the kind of person that will lead Nigeria. But let me take you to another very interesting area. Your party, the PDP, started this rotation idea, the zoning of presidency. Now we've seen that President Muhammadu Buhari, after Goodluck Jonathan of 4 years or 5 years, President Muhammadu Buhari is going to have exhausted or done 2 terms of 8 years by the end by 2023. For the sake of fairness, where do you think that the presidency should go in 2023, since it's your party that started it anyways?
Yes, that's a good question, and anybody can answer that question. You have made mention of where the presidents had already come from. You also made mention of areas that have not, that have never even got the opportunity to serve as president of Nigeria. There are some others who have not completed their time of being the president of Nigeria. All this, we are going to put them together, and I'm telling you, we will come out with a good answer for all Nigerians, and people will be dancing when we do our primaries, we do everything, and bring out our presidential candidate. You will love it, you'll be happy with us, and we are going to have that candidate that will certainly win election in 2023.
Senator Walid Jibrin, the chairman of the Board of Trustees of the People's Democratic Party. It's a pleasure having this time with you to discuss the internal affairs of your party. Thank you so much indeed for your time tonight on the program.
Thank you, Benoit. Happy to be with you.
Thank you so much indeed. Appreciate it. Let's take a breather, everyone. And when we return, our attention will switch to national security. Retired Group Captain Sadiq Shehu and Mr. Kabiru Adamu, both of them will join me to dissect the recent rescue of abducted students, the situation in Plateau State, and how we can keep Nigeria safe. That's next on the program. Join us again, everyone. Welcome back, everyone. Let's discuss security now. 2 persons have died following an attack by bandits in Makoro Iri village in Kajuru local government area of Kaduna State. The Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs in Kaduna State, Samuel Arwan, says the bandits invaded the remote village and shot dead the 2 persons. In another scenario, troops of Operation Safe Haven have rescued 3 travelers from armed bandits along the Gidanwaya Godogodo Road in Jamal local government area. On Friday in Zamfara State, the abducted students of the College of Agriculture and Animal Science Bakura, Zamfara State, have regained their freedom 12 days after gunmen whisked them away from the institution. And in Niger State, 3 months later, some of the students were freed months after gunmen stormed their school in Rafi local government area of Niger State, where they took away 93 children. And the chain of rescue and freedom continues of abducted persons. Good news for the families of these people and majorly students who were taken out of their school. I'm now being joined to give insights and some professional expertise into the conversation by Group Captain Sadiq Shehu, a retired Air Force officer and a security and defense consultant. Also with him is Mr. Kabir Adamu, a security consultant. Both of them very knowledgeable and deeply intelligent security experts. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for your time tonight. Let's begin the conversation now. Let me begin with the group captain. Give us a sense of what this means in terms of the operations of the military and, of course, even the police in the rescue. We've seen this happening at least in the last 1 week. The series of the rescue and the freedom of some of the school children and the persons that have been abducted. How do you assess the situation? What led to it? And how do you hope that this can continue and sustained to get everyone that is in the den of these bandits out?
Thank you very much. Well, what I would like to say, while the details of the rescue are not completely out about how the rescue was carried out, but it is logical to believe that these bandits continue to operate with impunity, seizing our children, our wives, our relatives. The more they do this, the more the security forces will understand their modus operandi, whether it is by way of transportation, whether it's by way of how they attack, how they choose their targets, and where they keep them. And that being the case, as long as lessons are being learned, we expect to see more and more success in getting people abducted freely. However, I always, sympathize with the security forces, whether it is the military, whether it is the police, whether it is the DSS. They are operating below capacity for so many reasons. So the government should not, we should not assume that the security forces are having all that they require, to carry out this operation. If you look at the large expanse of land or large expanse of forest where the security forces are operating, without mobility assets, without communication assets, without even boots on the ground, enough boots on the ground, it is really, really a Herculean task. Sometimes in these areas, if these people seize people and enter, it is like looking for a needle in a haystack. So the government, while rejoicing with the relative success we are having, we are not yet there. And I will continue to call for more capacity building for the armed forces. One thing to note is that when a kidnap has taken place, the best time or the highest success is immediately after the kidnap if you are going to recover. If the people have a very long head start, it becomes more difficult for you, because even if you know where they are, maybe they have taken a defensive position, and remember they are holding valuable property, your children, your wives. So even the tactics you are going to use or the methods, you do not have unlimited tactics. You have to select very well. So what do? We try to reduce the reaction time from when they strike and to when we get to them. And how do we do that? We need more and more, this is what I'm thinking, we need more and more smaller units embedded in some of these communities, so that the nearer you are to the place of abduction, definitely it will take a shorter time for you to react. But right now, if all people are staying, far away from places, you have to deploy. Of course, reaction time is going to be long, and that is most of the time that's what we see. If the reaction time is going to be very long, then definitely the chances of rescuing you, the best chance is to catch them while they are hot pursuit, while they are going. But by the time they arrive, they are dug in emplacement, it becomes more difficult to effect such rescues.
Let me take on Mr. Adamu on some of these issues that you have raised. Mr. Adamu, one will wonder when the description of the terrain of these bandits are being discussed, and how they go about what this dastardly act, when we imagine what goes on and how the security operatives hope to achieve getting at them. But what in your own mind do you think may have been responsible for these recent successes of getting people freed out of their den?
Thank you, Shehu. In my opinion, what we had, apart from one instance, is a case of release, not necessarily rescue. In other words, it was the bandits that released their victims after the parents paid money. Very different from a situation where out of force or other circumstances the kidnappers release their victims, and that is where rescue comes in. So number one, the commitment of the parents is responsible. They were able to gather money. In the case of Tegina, they gathered money. Some of them sold their assets. Others borrowed the money and then paid these kidnappers. In the case of Bethel in Kaduna, the same thing. It was the parents. Now, it would be very unfair not to mention the role of the security forces. There are ongoing security operations virtually in all parts of these locations. In Niger State, there are ongoing security operations. Then there are also ongoing security operations in Kaduna, as well as in Zamfara. Now, that may have put pressure on the bandits to conclude on the negotiation that they are doing with the parents of the kids. It's a possibility. Unfortunately, I do not have the facts to corroborate that. So it's a combination of several factors. Another element that I know has played out recently is the supply chains of most of these groups have been disrupted. Remember that a supply chain has emerged that is feeding into the industry, the kidnap for ransom industry. And I'm using these words consciously. As an example, people supply food to them, people supply drugs to them, people supply forgive my use of what, prostitutes to them. And so the recent security operations have disrupted this supply chains. And so the likelihood is that their camps are a bit more difficult than they were before these security operations. So a combination of these factors led to the recent releases that we saw.
Before I go back to the group captain, can you tell us, is it likely that these bandits are unified in their structure or in their organization? Are they centrally controlled? Are they in any way linked with the Boko Haram sect or the ISWAP?
So one of the challenges that I've seen of recent is the inability of several elements within the society to disaggregate the issues we're dealing with. The bandits, as far as I know, are not unified. There may be a cultural element that runs across, and one of the most worrying trends that we have seen is the cultural dimension that some of these actions present to the leaders of the bandit groups. So the more you abduct, as an example, some pupils from a school, the more your profile, your prowess as a commander or leader increases. And so it's now like a competition between them. Each camp wants to do something like that so that he or his prowess would increase. And the prowess comes with so many things, the money they are being paid, and all that. In terms of whether there is a strategic direction that they are trying to pursue, nothing in terms of my research has indicated that. I run a consultancy and we are keeping tabs of all of this. We have identified some major camps that are led by some, what I would call people who have shown a kind of bestiality that unfortunately should be dealt with, that we are not seeing enough of that at the moment. Now, whether there is a close strategic partnership between them and the terror groups in the Northeast. Yes, unfortunately. And this is something that started as far back as 2014, 2015, where we've seen an attempt by especially the two major groups in the Northeast, the Jamaat al-Ahl Sunnah al-Dawat wal-Jihad and the Islamic State in West Africa province, to extend their reach to the Northwest. Now, over time, this partnership has increased. More recently, perhaps in order to get funding for their operations, there is that possibility that some of the kidnappings we're seeing is also as a result of this strategic partnership. But this is not peculiar to Nigeria. All over the world, where there are instances where terror groups form partnership with criminal groups and where they use the proceeds of the activities of these criminal groups to fund their activities. It's something that is quite common within counter-terrorism and counter-insurgency studies, unfortunately.
So, I mean, we can say that they are not linked at all, or are there some linkages?
In summary, there are linkages, and I've tried to explain that in my comments. There are existing linkages, but to say that they're in a partnership, no. It's an affiliation that is mutually beneficial, and you have to remember, Sheung, that they are operating in the same space. If you use the example of Falgore Forest in Kano, when the military operations led to dislocation of the two terror groups in the northeast, they moved into some parts of the northwest, including these forested parts, and that's where these bandits hide. So the natural cohabitation would lead to some form of strategic partnership, as it were. In terms of the ideological linkage that everybody seems to be looking for, there is no finding at the moment that would establish that. We have to remember that, especially these bandits in the northwest, their knowledge of the scriptures that these terrorist groups preach of is almost next to nothing. So the ideological linkage is almost non-existent. The partnership is one of criminality, is one of perhaps sometimes weapon acquisition, but not ideological.
Group Captain Sadiq, can you tell us, because there was a time that the governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, said, look, anyone still staying in those forests is not the right, they're not the right persons to be there. But it's a bandits and people with shady deals or motives are the ones who are in those forests. And his argument at the time is that there needs to be a bombardment on them. But we kind of rescue that we're seeing from that forest. Do you think is a time to go in the direction of Governor El-Rufai to storm those forests, to smoke them out? Because what we have heard from experts to say, look, if you smoke them out, there might be collateral damage because of the proximity of some of these forests to caves and all what have you that innocent people might be living. But is it a good time now to start that kind of harsh and forced military operations?
Well, as somebody who operates on the intersection between human rights, law of armed conflict, and also military operations, I would be cautious about taking such an approach. Moreover, like you pointed out, there are villagers that have been held captive. What I mean by captive is not as if the bandits are holding them, but for them to tend to their farms, to tend to their animals, they have no option but to remain here. There are stories of villagers paying tithe or whatever. They pay tutelage to this in order to stay. So I will really be wary about bombarding the whole area, because we have not put enough precautionary measures. In law of armed conflict, you are always told to take feasible precautions to ensure that innocent civilians are not harmed. With the fact that we don't even know where some of our children are, with the fact that we know for a fact that some villagers have decided to stay and find a way of living, should I say, not peacefully, but to continue their livelihood by paying some money to the bandits, those things are there on the ground. So unfortunately, I do not think we have a clear ground where we'll say this area is occupied 100% by bandits, and then we can let loose our weapon systems. So I will be cautious on that.
So how then do we clear? Because we have some fire powers now. Then how do we then clear them out? These guys keep taking our children and taking them away into these bushes. How do we stop them? And from what we understand and gather is that they travel as much as hundreds of thousands of kilometers away from the urban area or some of these schools or some of these communities where they kidnap and abduct people.
Well, back to the term that my colleague here mentioned, that is a rescue operation. Even for every armed force or any security force, it's a very delicate operation. You always have to remember that the person you are trying to rescue is with these bandits. And at the same time also, you have to understand that these bandits, like I said, we do not have it as a fact that there's one area where it is 100% bandit territory. So for that reason, you have to be very, very careful. You may have the necessary firepower, but it may not be expedient, it may not be wise to just let loose and say that you'll destroy everything there. However, there are some measures that can be taken, maybe in collaboration with the local, like the traditional rulers, the Dagachis, the local Meanguas. If we could find a way, on a case-by-case basis, of sensitizing villages that are around this area to pull out, and we're able to ensure that, you know, we have majority of the people out, then we can take that risk. The law of war sometimes does not say that you know, collateral damage must be zero, but then you have to make sure that the military advantage you are going to gain far outweighs the collateral damage you are going to cause. So if you could have ways of trying to alert people and they are able to do so on a case-by-case basis, then we could be destroying, because we are not talking of one forest, we are not talking of one location. But I would still caution on just going without just putting this, you know, precautionary measures on the ground of just, you know, letting loose our weapon system just to neutralize. I think it will be counterproductive.
If you look at what is happening in the northeast right now, where we have a lot of some of these former Boko Haram members who are surrendering, over 1,000 of them that we understand now that are shown interest that they want to surrender. That's good news, isn't it?
It is good news, because what I'm saying, as long as I put it simply, if we are going to get more people that are surrendering than people that either Boko Haram or ISWAP are recruiting, then definitely we are coming towards, you know, a slope on the counter-insurgency. I always, when people are discussing this, and I always want people to understand, you see, the reality is that a non-international armed conflict is very difficult to end. It is not as clean cut as an international armed conflict, country A versus country B. Were it to be so, all you need to do is give us your prisoners of war, take your prisoners of war, and everybody goes to his country. But you see, the reality, the family links, the cultural links, the so many links that are between this Boko Haram, who are mostly from that northeast, and the larger population, we could not wish it away. First, we could not tell these bandits, if they surrender, that they should leave Nigeria. You know, it will be manifestly illegal, and we will not behave illegal. And secondly, once somebody surrenders under law of armed conflict, you cannot go ahead now and shoot him after he surrendered. If he's injured and surrendered, or he's not injured, he surrendered, the law says you must take care of him. And Nigeria is signatory to all these laws. Now, at the same time, you do not want to encourage impunity, that somebody has violated, has killed, you know, and then he's told to go away. So again, I want people to understand, when you talk about this amnesty, what the law of armed conflict said, especially Article 2 of the Geneva Convention, it says at the end of the conflict, governments should provide as wide amnesty as possible. I'm putting emphasis on these words. At the end of the conflict, as wide as possible to those who have participated in the conflict, except those that have collected war crimes. And those crimes are, you know, enumerated: murder, you know, rape, burning of village. There are certain crimes. So when we say amnesty, definitely the Geneva Convention, additional protocol 2 said, because it understands that ending a non-international armed conflict, there's no neat way, there's no easy solution to it. Whatever solution you take, you want to balance justice, you want also peace. You want justice, you want reconciliation. You want to discourage impunity. At the same time, you want this community to heal. So in all honesty, it is a big challenge for the people in Borno State or not is as general. They have to sit down. And I'm happy, as we are talking today, I had there's a meeting bringing all stakeholders that's going in Maiduguri. It is not as easy. You cannot take a fixed position that, look, we cannot accept them. At the same time, you cannot also take a position that nobody is going to pay for any of his crime they go. So what the law says, and which many people forget, is that the amnesty advocated by international law of armed conflict is a selective amnesty for those with low-level involvement, as opposed to those with blood on their hands that have to face the law. But again, like I said, we have seen it again in so many countries. There is the people who go, when you say punish, don't forgive, you are talking of retributive justice. But there's also what is called restorative justice. Restorative justice seeks to balance need for peace, need for reconciliation, and also some sort of compensation for those people that are harmed. So definitely, again, like I said, there is no easy way. Whatever way we take, all the stakeholders, the different groups, they have to give something to get something. In the long run, no matter how we discuss this thing, because like I say, as dramatic as it may sound, the only Boko Haram or insurgent you don't have a problem with, either legally or administratively, is the one that you shot during the war. You shot him during combat. That one is a clean. That is the end of that guy. But from the moment you arrest him, or he surrenders, or he's injured, the international laws which Nigeria has signed. Nigeria signed this Geneva Convention article in 1988, October 1988. Definitely you have some administrative, you have some legal responsibility, no matter, irrespective of what they did. And I will take it a step further. If you punish them, you are going to punish them under the Terrorism Prevention Act. As far as I know, the Terrorism Prevention Act does not have a death sentence. So supposing somebody is taken to court, and he's given 5 years or 10 years, if he finishes that, he's still going back to that community. So the issue of reconciliation must always be factored in. The leaders in Borno State plus the federal government, they have to sit down and think this is out.
Let me allow Mr. Adamu to give us the closing thoughts on this one. Give us a final word on your thoughts on this very touchy and very sensitive situation in the Northeast region.
Thank you, Sheun. Before then, I quickly want to add to what my co-discussant mentioned regarding the situation in the North Central. Two things are very important: intelligence and then the use of our tactical units. The over 9 law enforcement and the military departments have tactical units. There is nothing wrong with us using intelligence to identify the camps of these bandits and then using tactical units to take out the leadership of those bandits. The Americans came here and showed us how it's done in Sokoto. We can do it, and we need to do it. We pay money to these departments. They need to justify this money that we pay to them. All the tactical units they have. With regards to the situation in the Northeast, it's a good development, I agree. When you are dealing with about 9,000, as it were, members of these two groups, and all of a sudden about 1,000 plus of them are surrendering, then you have less to deal with. The good thing is we already have a program in place, the Operation Safe Corridor. Time will not allow me to go into the details of Operation Safe Corridor, but that is what it was set out to do. Now, whether what we have on paper as the policy direction and that determines what Operation Safe Corridor is what is being implemented. Unfortunately, the whole program has been a bit opaque. There is no way of sort of evaluating it. But if what I've seen on paper is what is being done there, then it's enough to deal with this situation. It would be able to determine who has committed war crimes, like Sadiq mentioned, and who is a low-level member of that group. And then, of course, at the end of the 16-week period that person would have been put through Operation Safe Corridor, there will be an evaluation to determine whether he has been de-radicalized, like the objective of the whole Operation Safe Corridor is.
I must sincerely thank both of you. Mr. Kabiru Adamu, security consultant, and retired group captain Sadiq Shehu, thank you so much indeed for your time and these insights that you have shared. But that's the end of our show today, everyone. Many thanks for being part of it. I'm Seun Okimale. Bye for now.